Now we hit the road to Columbia, South Carolina. Play against a South Carolina team that started the league playing really, really well. I think a lot of things have come together for them, and like all Frank Martin's team, they're going to be defensive-minded, very physical, great size, a great player in Silva. He's had a phenomenal career. Seems like the guy's been there for 6 years, and he just keeps getting better. But they have size inside, and something we have to contend with. And they've got some talented young players. The Lawson kid, the Bryant kid, and the Gravitt kid is playing well for them. So we've got to answer the bell in terms of the physicality of what's going to take place in this game. Their mindset is every rebound is theirs, and they want to go get it. So we're going to really have to bow down and just kind of keep people off the glass and get to the glass ourselves. But tempo is going to be big in this game here, and so it's the next game on our schedule. It's the second half of conference play, if I'm not mistaken. So we look forward to the challenge.
Yeah, Mike, I was going to ask you, you're 5-4 at the halfway point, obviously on a roll right now. How do you feel about where you guys are at the halfway point and what you can do in the second half of the conference season? There's
room for improvement, Bob. I think we're starting to get some key guys that's starting to play at a consistent level. That's the key, is consistency level. Obviously Daniel, we know what's expected out of him, what people are coming at him, they're doubling, and he's got to be able to deflect to some of the other guys. And I think when those guys step up, it takes a lot of the load off of Daniel. So, and when those forwards we talked about, the Gabe, Adrio, and Reggie Chaney, when they bring rebounding, intensity, defensive mindset, and scoring, open up the floor, I think it makes us a much better basketball team. But the biggest thing is when you go on the road, you got to shoot the basketball well. So hopefully that's something we can take with us. Defense is going to have to be really, really good, and the finishing part of defense is rebounding the basketball. So where we are right now, we still got a ways to go to get where I want to get to, but I think we're moving in the right direction because we're getting multiple guys now. Keyshawn has started giving us some quality minutes. Gabe is giving us quality minutes coming off. Desi, Reggie Chaney. So our bench is starting to impact this team, and along with the guys that are starting off. And so getting off to a good start is going to be a big key in this game.
Really, from the Missouri game on, what's made the difference in your defense kind of playing to the potential you thought they would at the season?
I just think we're getting after people. I think we've been disruptive again. I think our pressure, our help side, and help side to me is a game that exemplifies that is the Vanderbilt game. I don't think our defense was as disruptive as it could have been, but I think we took like 6 or 7 charges. And so that means our line of defense is there. There are games where we block shots, but we're active. We're touching balls. We're deflecting passes. And so I think our guys are more in sync defensively. They're talking, communicating. And that defense is leading to some offense. And then I think on the offensive end, I think we're executing a lot better. We're doing a good job of really, starting inside out, getting the ball to Daniel on time, and when the double comes, he's swinging the basketball, moving the ball. So just seems like things are starting to get a little bit more in sync.
How much of that's just time, when they've had the time to play together and practice together?
Yeah, that's that time of the year when a lot of things start coming together, defensively and offensively.
Mike, I don't know how much you pay attention to this stuff. You guys have hit a 3 in 999 straight games, so that means the next one would be 1,000. Only a handful of teams have done that. Just what do you think about that?
I guess we've had people that can make threes, I guess. That many, like I said, you know more about that than I do. But obviously, since the three-point line has come into effect, a lot of teams are taking advantage of it. So that just means we've had some people that, I guess at some point in time, it's been in jeopardy, I know at times, because we've had a team where I think we may have made one like in the last 5 minutes of a game or something like that. So, but it's just something you'd write about, I think, Bob. But it is significant, though. I think it is.
And you've been on the bench for more of those games than anybody between being an assistant and a head coach. Is that kind of cool to think about?
Like I said, we've had some guys who can put it in the hole, and we've got. And I think we got some more guys who can put it in the hole. So let's hope we can, knock on wood, keep it going.
Mike, In that same vein, how impressive is it to see Isaiah, I guess, kind of so close to breaking the freshman record for threes in a season with still more than a month to play?
Well, just good to see him start to, feeling a lot better. He was real puny there for a while there, and I just thought, before he even got sick, I thought he was playing with that pop in his step again, and that's what we're seeing. His confidence really just soaring, and that's important for our basketball team. He's a really good player and got a chance to be a real special player. I think everybody talks about his shooting, but if you look at defensively, he's done a lot of good things for us defensively as well.
Coach, you mentioned early on that controlling tempo is going to be a big key in this game. How do you go about doing that on the road?
Well, we got to make sure that our defense has got to keep them off the board. That's one thing, and then when we score, we got to. I don't want to be predictable with our defense, whether we're in a matchup, man, full court, half court. I don't want to be predictable, and so I think we're getting to a point now where we can do that. We can play multiple defenses and hopefully be effective with it. But offensively, we want to get the game up and down the floor. I think that favors us and make South Carolina get to their bench. But at the same time, if we don't have anything, we got to be able to execute. I think that's the biggest key, is that being able to execute and just find a way to hang around and hang around. You got to shoot the ball well. You got to rebound. You got to not turn the ball over. That's one of the things I'm looking at, because they're a good defensive team. They get up in the lanes on you, and so it's going to test our guys. This is another test for our basketball team.
Mike, you mentioned Silva a minute ago. How do you see the inside matchup with him and Daniel?
I don't. Everybody look at just Daniel, but they got some other guys. The Kosar kid is playing really well for them. He's an inside-outside guy. The Hasse kid can step out and shoot the basketball. Silva's a great player. I mean, he's a senior. Daniel's a sophomore. So, it's two guys that offensively I think they can score. He can step out and shoot the basketball. He's made, I think, 4 or 5 threes this year. Matter of fact, I saw in one game where he made back-to-back threes in one game this year in conference play. So he's really broadened his game, and it just brings a physicality to the game. He rebounds the basketball. He's the leader of their team, and Daniel's the leader of our basketball team. So hopefully Daniel can have a tremendous outing. He did against Vanderbilt here, and so we need Daniel to step up and play for us from the start, beginning, in the middle, and finishing the game off.
How big a key will it be, whether it's Silva or Gafford who gets the one in foul trouble first?
I think that's going to be important there. Obviously they play a physical brand of basketball, and we've got to be able to hold our own in that standpoint. Can't get pushed around. I think that's got to be the key, and we got to have poise. I think that can't lose our cools. It's going to get a little testy out there, but I think that's going to be a key. Foul problems. The thing for us, especially, I think is big for him, and even for Silva. He's a guy. He's picked up fouls quite a bit, so that'll be interesting to see.
When you look at your ability the last 2 games to build a double-digit lead, how do you keep from letting that run that comes back at you from getting the game closer like it has been the last 2 games?
Ask that question again.
Well, I mean, you've had double-figure leads late in games.
Okay.
And how do you keep from allowing that other team's run to get them back into the game?
Keep executing, doing what you did to get the lead. I think that's the biggest key. And if you think about the other night, we always talk about that last 10 minutes being our period. I thought we let up defensively. I really did. And it allowed them. We had some missed assignments on our defense, and they were able to get wide open spot-up shots. And before you know it, now that game's become a game. And that's the game becomes a little closer. And it went back and forth. But I think the key is being able to keep doing what you're doing to get that lead. That means you got to come down and execute. You got to be able to make stops and build on momentum. I don't think we take advantage of the momentum all the time, and that's a sign of an inexperienced team. So to answer your questions, we got to learn that other part of, when you get a lead, increase that lead. You got to be able to put the pedal down to the metal, and that's a learning curve. That's a learning curve.
Some of the other SEC coaches said on the coaches call the other day that South Carolina is maybe playing at a faster pace. Have you seen that? And if so, Did that help you guys? Because you obviously want to play fast.
Yeah, they're playing at a fast pace. It should be a good game. Like I said, they're playing at a much faster pace than Frank's team has here in the last few years. But he has those kind of players. You know, the Lawson kid, the Bryan kid, the Campbell kid is a graduate player. So they are. And they got older guys now. They got 5 guys that have been there at least 2 to 3 years now. In Silver's case, he's been there for 4 years. Kozar, he's a junior. I think Hasse he's a sophomore. The Gravett kid, this is his 3rd year there. So they've got guys that have been there. And so now with the young guys, they're a little more athletic. A lot of more versatile parts to his basketball team, and they're starting to play really good basketball. I mean, they won us some. You know, their first game winning conference play was at Florida. Won some close games, and then they won some games at home as well.
Yeah, Mike, going back to Isaiah, what's running through your mind when he goes on a run like he did the other night, where I think he hit 4 threes in just a couple of minutes? What's running through your mind when he does something like that?
What's running through my mind?
Yeah, just I guess what are you thinking after he does that? Is it just kind of amazement or what?
Good shooting. I've seen him do it in practice. He make multiple shots, so keep it up, I guess. That's a good answer. Keep it up. Keep shooting. How about that? That's keep shooting.
You guys obviously had a big road win at LSU, and you played Texas Tech pretty well, and you won at A&M. How do you feel about taking this team on the road? Do you feel like you guys are developing into a pretty decent road team?
We're getting better. We're getting better, Bob. I think we've gotten better every time we went out. You know, from the Tennessee game, even to where we are right now. I think we're a little bit better, and it'd be anxious to see us go in this environment and playing against a team that's going to be very, very physical. They're defensive minded, and see if we can match that intensity. They're coming off of a tough loss at Kentucky. So we know they're going to come out with a lot of emotion, and we got to be able to withstand that, that initial coming out.
Anything else, Coach?
All right, thank you, guys.